Before we dive into this episode, I want to set the scene for you. What you're about to hear is not my usual format. This is an interview I did on Cytel Schults' podcast, Designed to be Heard, and I'm sharing it here on Your Unapologetic Life. Cytel is a sound astrologer who uses natal charts to help women find their voice, embody their confidence, and express themselves authentically. And in this episode, she turns the tables on me. She draws out my story, why therapy was not the right fit for me, why coaching is exactly where I'm supposed to be according to my natal chart, and what I actually do with my clients to help them stop playing small and start living out loud. Now, if you've ever wondered how I got here, this one is for you. Let's get into it.
All right. I'm so excited to talk to Morgan today. Morgan is a confidence coach. Morgan, would you tell us a little bit about you and what got you into what you're doing now?
It's a long and twisty road. You ready?
Oh, girl, I am ready.
I grew up small town Wisconsin, prior to the internet, so you don't really realize how amazing the world is and all the wonderful jobs that you could do. I mean, honestly, looking back, if I would have known, I probably would have been like one of those travel writers or something where you go and you get to travel and write reviews for things. I mean, I didn't even think something like that existed because that was always my dream, was to travel. Anyway, way back when I was in high school and you take those assessments to learn what you should be when you grow up, it was like, you should be a teacher or a counselor. And I was like, well, I mean, I do like people. I think I'm pretty good with people. Maybe, so then I ended up taking a psych class and a sociology class. And I thought, okay, I like this. Went to get a psych degree in my undergraduate and then realized very quickly it's really hard to find a job out of college with a psych degree because unless you have, I mean, we learned a lot of theories, but you didn't really graduate with a skill set like a nurse would or something like that. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go get more education after college. And I didn't know what to do. I went to law school for a semester. I thought I could be like a social worker with more power, realizing law was not for me. I would sit in class and be like, what the fuck is going on? I did not pick up law at all. I got into the School of Social Work, actually, at the University of Minnesota. I lived in Minneapolis at the time and got to the orientation. I looked around. I thought, I don't think I want to be a social worker for the rest of my life either. And so I ended up leaving that and then got into a PsyD program because I thought, okay, I'm going to stick with this theme. And then went to orientation. I got accepted and it was way too stuffy. Like I thought, yikes, I'm not going to be able to be myself in this program, I don't think. And so I was literally walking out of the college when the recruiter guy came chasing after me. And he's like, wait, Morgan, what about a master's in marriage and family therapy? And I was like, tell me more. Can I own my own business with that? Because I was, for whatever reason, thinking a doctorate was the only way I could own my own business, put out my own shingle. And he's like, oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, with a master's degree, you can open up your own practice at some point. So I said, okay, well, tell me more. And I ended up getting into the program, doing very well in the program, enjoyed my time very much. I had an internship at an outpatient mental health facility in Minnesota and I was hired on after my graduation. And I will say a year into it, I can remember where I was sitting, the room, who was talking, everything, when I realized this isn't right either. Because therapy is very specific and it takes a certain personality. And someone like me I want to talk and interact, not just listen and take notes. Um, and understandably, therapists, there's a board of ethics and you have to follow a very specific way of doing things, which is great. And depending on what theory you usually favor, you're going to maybe practice in that way. And I was more intuitive and more like a coach. I wanted to get in there with you. I wanted to go, oh my God, I experienced that too, whether it was disordered eating, depression, relationships that didn't work out, rebuilding your confidence after a breakup. I mean, those are my two favorite clients. They were women that, unfortunately, varying degrees of really unhealthy relationships. One of my patients, she literally had to jump out of a moving car to save her own life, because her husband was threatening her life, and she escaped him and moved back to Minnesota from the West Coast and rebuilt her life. And therapy with me was part of that. And she said, I wish we could go get drinks. And I'm like, girl, me too. And we couldn't, you can't have that dual
Yeah.
relationship. You can't, I mean, you just can't. And I thought, this isn't for me. So I knew my ideal client was someone, a woman who was really successful and powerful in her own way, and yet not confident in other ways, whether it was in how they were in relationship with their men, um, or confident in their body. And I just thought, there's something here for me. Alongside that, there were two other things that were going on. So while I was in graduate school and while I was a therapist, I was also a stripper on the weekends and an exotic dance and fitness instructor. So I was paying my bills mostly with the dancing, which is its own form of building my confidence because realized very quickly, I mean, I had disordered eating and body dysmorphia from like 19 until I was 26 when I started dancing because I was so in my head about what was
Yeah.
perfect and how I should look and then I started dancing and I was like, wow, all these women here are sexy, desirable, and confident, and they look so different. They're different ages, they're different ethnicities, their body types are so different. And we're all making money, and all these women seem super confident. And I thought, wow, so there is no ideal, there's no perfect, there's no, I mean, it was so awesome. It was like a light switch. It helped me to, I was like confident in myself overnight. It was unbelievable. It was like I let go of
Wow.
all these because I mean you really are what you surround yourself with, right?
Yep.
So I was surrounded by, again, prior to the internet, so I didn't have Instagram and TikTok telling me how to look. And taking the weight loss drugs with the ephedra in it. It was the cabbage diet and the Southwest, no, what was it? The South Beach diet. I
Oh
mean, there were
yes, South
things,
Beach.
and then you had like 17 magazine and heroin chic the 90s. I mean, hello. I mean, bless her, but Kate Moss, I mean, like a toothpick. So there were all these things that I was thinking that how I was supposed to look. And then when I get into the real world, particularly dancing, where women are literally making money off of selling their personalities and their bodies. And I was like, oh, there's a lot of good looking women that don't fit this perfect thing that I thought we were supposed to be. So I was like, wow, I really like how I am. And it really changed how I felt about myself. And then I was teaching dance and fitness for the everyday woman. So all the women, I mean, women CEOs for insurance companies and divorcees and a young lady in college, with her steady boyfriend, like all these different kind of women were taking my classes and they were feeling really confident about themselves because they realized they're in a supportive environment with other women who are celebrating them, cheering them on, um, not criticizing them. Because a lot of women come in and they're like, oh, I'm like embarrassed and like other people are going to think this or that about me. I said, promise you, everybody's focused on themselves. They don't want to fall. They want to see if they look cute in the mirror. Like nobody cares about you. No offense. And they realize very quickly, yeah, we're all just here to have a good time and feel sexy and feel powerful and feel feminine and maybe get stronger in the process. I mean, I taught a pole fitness class, which was in tennis shoes, and we jumped around like we were in the 80s in some kind of step video, but we used the pole. Yeah. So we would like hold on to the pole and do like knee lifts and stuff like to work our abs.
Yeah.
It was so fun. It was like being in an aerobics class on the pole. It was great.
That's so
And
fantastic.
oh my God, I used to have girls, the one studio I worked at, they're like, Morgan, it's so hard to get in your class. I had women who, because the classes would get posted for the whole week on a certain day at midnight. Some women would set their alarm for midnight, go register for my classes, and then go back to bed. I'm not even kidding. It was so awesome because for them, it was like such a unique way to work out. It really made them feel a part of something. It was so wonderful. So again, I was dancing, I was teaching dance and fitness, and then also had this therapy degree. And I'm like, how do I put these all together? Because somehow it feels like they're supposed to be together. So when I decided to leave therapy, I was in this every Tuesday we would have these meetings where we would bring our most difficult cases and kind of talk with each other therapists, like, what would you do? How would you handle this? Am I going about this the right way? And we kind of like confide in, and not confide in each other, but like lean on each other
Mhm.
for direction and strategy or whatever. And I was listening to this woman talk, and I was literally feeling sick to my stomach because I could like feel the anxiety of the patient, even though the patient wasn't even there. And it was just
Yeah.
like, I don't think I want to do this. Like I'm eating people's feelings in a really way that's not feeling good to me, and I don't think this is what I want to do. And my parents thought I was crazy, understandably. I just finished a graduate degree and I quit my job, give away everything I own, and moved to Miami from Minnesota. Like, they're like, where are you going to live? What are you going to do? And I was like, not sure. And I put on Facebook that I was moving to Miami, and this person I went to high school with, who I wasn't even friends with at the time, and we knew each other, but we weren't like in the same circle. She's like, my husband and I live in the Miami area. Do you want to come stay with us? You can help me take care of the kids. And I was like, hell yeah, I will. So I had a place to stay. And then I researched all the strip clubs around the area to see which one I wanted to work at. I auditioned and got a job, and that was that. So I went back to dancing. And again, in parallel, I was like, how do I build this coaching business? And so 2013, I purchased morganbarkus.com, my domain name. Didn't know what I was doing. Hired someone to design the website. It sat up there like the field of dreams. I was like, well, if you build it, they'll come, right? No. Didn't know how to market. I didn't know what an ideal client was. I didn't know what marketing was. I didn't know anything about anything, coaching programs, and I didn't know. And so I still had this dream. And then finally, I thought, okay, well, you can't strip forever. So at like 35, I got a big girl job, as I call it, and got into a position with a major fitness franchise, and did well in that company for 5 years. And then I got into medical device sales, which was wonderful because it helped me financially, and finally had health insurance and all these things I hadn't had for like well over a decade. So it was a really great change for me financially. And then once I had my feet firmly on the ground financially, it was like, oh, now I can start investing in myself. And I learned, wow, there's coaching programs that help you build a business, help you know how to talk to your ideal client. And I just realized that it's a woman. It's a woman who's like, you know what? I wish I had the confidence to do that.
Yeah.
Whether it's break up with the guy, go on the dance floor, wear the thing, post the thing, stand up for herself, set boundaries with her family, like whatever it is that she's like, wish I had that confidence. And you actually were the one to put words to the fact that I can activate people really quickly to make changes. And when I was in school to be a therapist, solution focused therapy was my favorite theory because it didn't spend a lot of time going into your past and your patterns and all that. It was like, what's the problem and how do we fix it? And
Yep.
and that's how I'm like, yes, I want to understand you, and I don't want to spend a bunch of time in your past because I am like, tell me what to do, show me what to do.
Yep.
And that's sort of the kind of coaching I do. And I really want women to come to me. And what's awesome too is I think one of the big lessons out of my last semester in therapy school was one of my professors. I did my 50-page paper presentation. It went in front of the class, and you get critiqued and like told what kind of therapist you're going to be in front of everyone, which is lovely. And he was like, Morgan, you're going to be a great therapist. And you walk around like a tough girl, and I know you got a squishy inside. Show people that. Show people your vulnerability and your soft side, because if you want people to be vulnerable with you, you need to be vulnerable. Like, oh, okay. And I always was the tough girl and don't let them see you cry kind of girl.
Right.
And then I realized, I think because I'm so vulnerable with my clients, if they bring something to me, I say, I totally understand. Actually, I did this, or this happened to me then, or
Yep.
they're like, wow, I feel safe. I feel seen. I feel like I can tell you anything. I've never told anyone this before. I have a client that I don't even think she told her husband she's working with me, and we are making progress, and so
Yep.
was something she struggled with for over a decade, and have she's been to therapy, and it
Yep.
wasn't, it didn't help in the same way that I'm helping, because it's like, girl, I'm in the trenches with you. Let's talk about this. And so that's the journey. And I'm really excited in the last few months to really feel confident in myself and what I'm capable of doing and helping. And that it's so cool to have tied so much of my life experience and my education into something that is really helpful for certain women. It's been just an absolute honor. It's so fun. They're like, "Are you sure?" Girl, you can text me at any time. If my phone's on do not disturb, which it is when I'm sleeping, I'll text you in the morning when I'm drinking coffee. It's been so fun because it's like that girlfriend energy. Like,
Yeah.
just tell me whatever. You don't have to wait for a session to talk to me. If you're on the floor in the fetal position crying and you're spiraling, text me, voice note me. I mean, it's been really fun for me and helpful for my clients, gratefully.
I love that. So there's so many things about your story and like how you got to the space that you're at that I just want to like juice
Go
into and
ahead.
dive into. Like, first of all, the thing that just like jumps out to me across the screen is I'm like, I don't know how you lasted as long as you did in therapy, not because you're not amazing, but you can't sit still in this space in this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, it was
you're,
tough.
yeah, like because the thing that I could just feel eking out of you is this desire to create movement in people's lives. And it is like, yeah, you're a confidence coach. You're helping them have confidence so they can take the action that they want to take. And I just see that pouring out of your body with like everything that you say has got this move, like your body is constantly moving as you've been
That's true.
talking this, like, and it's not a bad thing, not a bad thing, because from my perspective and from a marketing perspective. And it just, when you're showing up like that, it's part of how you express to your clients what you're going to bring to them. And it's speaking so subconsciously to them about what you can bring. Like if you were to sit there, if you were to sit there, it would be
With the note.
painful.
Yeah, my yellow notepad, my legal pad.
If you were just like,
And
sit
then we have
still.
and then we had to type up the notes after with
Oh
their
my
action
gosh.
plan and talk about an action plan. There was no action in the action plan.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but just to think about you sitting still and not moving your body at all, it feels so horrible. So and then the other thing that I just really loved about what you said, you're like, I tried law school for a semester. I tried this for a semester. I tried this. And the thing that I just kept thinking was, how often do women hold themselves back or stick to a path because they've committed to it or because they've said, oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to do law school, so now I need to do law school for the whole time, or now I've decided so I have to do this, or I spent all this money on my education to be a therapist, so now I have to be a therapist. And like the big thing in all of that to me was, one, it's okay to experiment to find your thing. and and you can actually experience confidence in the experimentation of your life. Did that make sense? Do you
Yes,
like?
because that's people, it's not a light switch. Like you don't get to just be confident. And I wasn't just confident. Like, yes, I grew up with parents, especially my mom, who was like, well, if you don't like that, just say that. Or if you want to order that. Like, I'm not going to for you, speak up for yourself. And so I learned very quickly to have a voice and believe in myself and trust my intuition. And then after that, it was like I wasn't confident in my body. But then I took steps to work on that, read books and did
Yeah,
therapy. And like I said, when I started dancing, I realized, oh, my whole paradigm has been fucked my entire teenage and young adult life. Wow, so that was a confidence. Then it was like getting a handle on my money and building my confidence there. And the more
yeah.
successes I had. So my education was like that, or skipping jobs. And I know, don't get me wrong, I drove my dad crazy. But that's why I have this tattoo with the butterfly on it. Because a business coach of mine in the past, she's like, Morgan, some people are like jackhammers. They pick something and they just go at it, and that's what they do their whole life, and that's fulfilling for them. She's like, you're like a butterfly. You got to bounce around a little bit, and that's perfectly okay. And I'm like, I am like a butterfly because I was made to feel unintentional, like just pick something and stick to it kind of thing. And it was like, I'm not sure yet, until it really feels like a full body yes for me, it's a no. Um, I'm not a wishy-washy. I'm a in or I'm out. And so, um, and it was okay for me to go, I'm going to skip around a little bit. And like you said, that built my confidence because it was like, okay, well, I didn't die. My life didn't fall apart. And I learned something because I don't care
Yep.
who comes into your life, what job you've had. Any experience helps you if you look at it that way. What did I take from this? What did I learn from this? Even relationships I've had that weren't that great, I think, yes, and that person was not a good partner for me. I
Yeah.
made the choice to get involved with that person. What can I take from this that I can now learn next time I decide to date someone in the next relationship I'm in? I'm not going to talk bad about the other person. I chose that person in that
Yeah.
time. That's my responsibility. I don't play the victim. I want to know, what do I take now
Mhm.
when I move forward? So to me, those are all little confidence builders, you know?
Yeah.
And I know, and again, my parents, of course, anybody's parents, they love their kids. They don't want to see them hurt. They don't want to see them disappointed. They don't want to see them in any way struggling. And, it would be like, well, I don't want to see you get hurt again. I'm like, I mean, at this point, I feel so confident. I mean, maybe in my 20s, I would have fallen apart and been a hot mess for too long. Now I bounce back pretty quick. I cry about it. I journal about it. I talk to some girlfriends and then I move on. So your confidence is built in the reps that you put in and go, huh, I survived and I learned something and that wasn't that bad. And, I think that depending on how you look at your life, I've always looked at it as like, I down and take things, learn things, and move on if something doesn't feel right. I trust myself. I don't want to stay in something that doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Gathering information and making
Hmm.
choices from that,
Yeah. I
which
mean, that's what life is, isn't
yep.
it?
Yes, exactly. Yes, it is. But I think so often we make it mean something that it doesn't have to mean, which is what, like, that's part of what I hear you saying in all of this is that it doesn't have to mean what we think it has to mean. It doesn't
Yep.
mean that we're less than or anything like that. We can gain information. And as we gain information, we gain confidence and we then that informs our decisions moving forward.
Well, and I don't know about your listener who's listening right now and thinks, yeah, but I don't want to disappoint. I was always worried about disappointing my parents because
Mhm.
we're very close. They're my best friends. I tell them everything. Even when I was in high school, they got to the point where they're like, we don't really need to know everything. Like you can dial back some of the things because I was like, and then I met this boy, and they're like, we don't need to all know all the details. Um, and we're still very close. And so for me, some of the decisions I've made, I'm like, oh, they were like the last to know because I was afraid of their reactions. And
Yeah.
even when they were, it was always out of love. They were worried. Like when I said I would quit, I was, hey, I quit my therapy job. I didn't re-sign my lease and I'm going to move to Miami. And they were like, wait, what? And I was so scared to tell them. And yes, we had a rough couple weeks where they were like, I think freaked out and didn't know
Yeah.
what to say or how to handle me. And yet, boy, we both learned from that because not only did we come back together, then they had a fun place to visit in South Florida. I don't think they never would have been to Florida otherwise and had a great time and visit me and so it turned out all for the better. And yeah, sure, there was an uncomfortable part, but we all learned and grew from it and came out on the other side and shook off and okay, like I have a phoenix tattooed on my back because it's for me. My mom told me since I was a little kid, Morgan, everybody's got shit. Everybody's got
Hmm.
shit. You don't know if someone's dealing with a health issue, loss, financial, whatever it is. And everybody either it tears them down or they, get back up and they're brighter and stronger than before for it. And I've taken that Phoenix path where it's like, okay, I am down on the floor in the fetal position and I will get back up.
Yeah.
So to me, that's just how I see life.
Oh my gosh. I just think what a great mentor you had in your mom.
Oh, yes. She is. And I think for her, she doesn't even realize how powerful it was. When you're from a small town in Wisconsin and you think, I was just doing the best I could. And it's like, well, you did pretty awesome. Like, and
Yeah.
even their relationship, been married 52 years. And sometimes when I watch them, and I'll even tell them, and I think, you two, because as I went through school to be a marriage and family therapist, you learn a lot, just not just about like marriage and families, you learn the systems that we belong to, whether it's our marriage, our friendships, our workplace, our family. Like you're all part of multiple systems that are influencing your behavior and your perspectives and whatever, whatever. And I said, you two got married at 19 years old. You didn't know
Yeah.
anything about anything. And you grew together and you've managed to really thrive in this relationship and do things that we would teach as a therapist to couples, better ways of communicating and I'll give you a simple example. Like one of the things, it's called bid for attention. So John
Mhm.
Gottman and his wife are very well-known therapists and have written many books. And one of theirs is like a relationship isn't doing so well if there's a bid for attention and the other person ignores it. So
Yep.
if my mom says, "Oh, look at that bird, she's so beautiful out there," and my dad didn't respond, that
Yep.
and it's so cute, even though my dad could care less about the red-breasted grosbeak out there, sitting on the bird feeder. I was, yeah, that's great, because they just constant and they do that with each other. And I was like, that's so cool. That's something that I learned in school about skill that healthy relationships have, and they didn't even know they were doing it. And so I think that, yeah, it's constant communication, being open, um, wanting to learn, wanting to make things better, having a positive outlook.
Yeah.
Um, but and my dad's like me, he's the activator type. Like he gets something in his head, there's no stopping him. It's gonna happen. And that's I got that. I got that from him.
I love that. It's best of both worlds, it sounds like, which I think is fantastic. It's so great.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about this so much as we've been talking, because oftentimes when it comes to marketing and really marketing yourself in an authentic way, it feels so freaking scary and it feels so vulnerable, right? Because you're sharing a part of you. And what I have seen over my career for myself, what I've seen with my clients is it requires a certain level of self trust, and it takes a level of confidence in yourself in order to really truly let your voice be heard in your marketing. And which is another reason why I love you and I feel like I could talk to you all day long. But it's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on today, because really authentic marketing requires a level of confidence.
Mhm. And where did I get mine?
Well, I guess like what made you decide, like, I mean, in the story and you sharing all of this, one of the things that I just feel is like it is almost sounds like you feel it in your body
Mhm.
and you just feel this pull to help women, like this is the thing I've been looking for. Is that how you would describe it? Like when you think about coaching women on confidence, do you feel it in your body? Do you feel this pull and like this is the thing I was meant to do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm glad that even as far back as high school, someone said you're meant to help. And it wasn't necessarily a teacher or a counselor. And yet I ended up getting a therapy degree and then going, love this. And I'm going to go do it my way. And
Mhm.
I think putting yourself out there, especially in marketing, and that to me, it was a couple things. It was reps and it was evolution. Because when I was a stripper, I didn't report to anybody. I didn't have to worry about my image. So I had a YouTube channel back in the day, and I talked about everything and anything on that channel because I was like, so like to me, what was most personal was most universal. And so women would say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I love well videos and or you haven't been on in a while, when are you going to post another video?" Because they liked hearing my
Mm.
stories and they could either find something in themselves in it
Yep.
or be inspired
Yep.
to go do something or see something a different way because of how I was living my life. And I lived very out. I've always been an oversharer. My best friend that I met in school, she's a therapist still, wonderful therapist. Um, she's like, Morgan, everybody that meets you's got to know you are unfiltered. Like they're gonna have to know you're coming in hot and you're coming in loud, and it's just that's how you are. And I was, and even when I was in fitness, I didn't worry about it either because you're gonna fire me because I'm talking about sex or stripping or like relationship stuff. Like I didn't worry. Then when I got in corporate America, I panicked and I shut down my whole YouTube channel. I
Mm.
had hundreds and hundreds of videos, but I was scared that anything from my past, because I was so open, would come back. I wish I would have archived them. That was a dumb move, but I just completely deleted the channel. Well, then my marketing changed because I was really filtering myself. So then
Yep.
I just didn't go online at all for a while because I was
Yep.
like, I can't get fired. I don't want anybody to, think that I'm inappropriate, unprofessional, someone to bring up something that. So I was freaking out because I was like, I got bills to pay, so I can't lose my job. So then I completely swung in the other way and just shut myself down. Well, then I started to feel really stifled. Like you said, I'm in
Yeah.
my body. So for me, I'm very, what am I feeling? And I thought, I feel closed off. I feel like I'm in a season of like the winter where you gotta like shut down. And I thought, I don't like this. Like I miss being creative. I miss saying stuff. I miss interacting with people. Um, and so then it was like I dabbled a little bit and then I pull back. And I dabble a little bit with
Mm,
YouTube. I put out a few videos, but they were unfiltered. I wasn't swearing. I wasn't sharing super personal stories. I was just
right.
like, oh, like a book that I'm reading. And it just felt so stupid of me. And like you would talk about like your voice and like who you are. My voice was like this weird filtered PR version of me. It was not good. It wasn't
PR
me. And
version.
so
Right.
yeah, and then even in when you and I met, and I was in that one coaching program, I was still struggling with messaging because I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a podcast. This is exciting. I'm not gonna swear. I'm gonna be careful, like put myself out there, but be careful. And then 2026 came around and I had read Calling in the One, which
Uh-huh.
unrelated, I was like thinking about being authentic and what to let go of and to let into my life on a personal level, but then it also somehow translated into my business because it was like, okay, if I'm going to become the woman who is this woman? Like,
Yep.
who is Morgan, who's 100% in saying what she wants to say, how she wants to say it? Well, the doors were blown off then. I was like, you know what? Take it or leave it. I swear, I talk loud. I ask very direct questions. I just talk about anything. And I thought, I'm gonna go for it. Real quick, I want to tell you about the Confidence Club. Every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, I host a free virtual brunch for women who want real conversation, real connection, and zero filters. I bring a topic, ask a question, and we just talk. No agenda, no pressure, and no, you do not even have to shower first. Think less networking call and more your favorite group chat, but live. Women show up, connect, collaborate, and leave feeling seen and supported. I miss getting women together in a room, and this is my version of that. The link to grab your calendar invite is in the show notes. Come as you are. I will see you on Wednesday. And that's when I finally started to get clients because they're like, Morgan's
Yes.
back. Morgan's back.
Yes.
So yeah, I think for you, like when you help people find their voice, and it is about confidence because I will say, sure, do I worry sometimes? Like, am I going to get fired over this? I doubt it, but still, you never know. And I think, well, then that's going to be fate, and I'll be the butterfly yet again, and around figuring out. But I feel so confident in my coaching business now, in that it's like, wow, there's a lot of women out there who, they've got certain things that they're struggling with that they want to rid of quickly, and I'm here for that. And if if I continue to be as authentic as I am, and that's what they need, then I'm here for that. And that's exciting to me because there'll be the women that hate me, and that's cool. Like if you think, oh my God, all she does is she cusses way too much and she is way she talks. Fine.
I love how your voice just changes, like the way you say everything. And like I just had a whole picture of that woman in my head. Like I know exactly what her hairstyle is. I know the clothes that she's wearing. Like,
I love that. Well, see, there you go. Like
yeah.
I want to have a visceral reaction. I was thinking Samantha Jones from Sex and the City because
Yes.
she was in marketing and she was like,
Yeah.
they either love you or hate you, but at least you're like having an impact. And so I'd rather have
Yeah.
die-hard fans and the folks that think that I'm just terrible. And to me, it's not personal. I mean, I always talk to my clients about the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yes.
Going
Love
back
that
to my
book.
mom, and I used to watch Oprah religiously, and she would always have amazing authors on. And You Can Heal Your Life, Ruiz, and The Four
Yeah.
Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Those are my books. Like
Yeah.
they came into my life around like 1920 and years old, and they changed my life for the better. And I really realized this isn't personal. And even when I danced, do you know how many no's I got? People that did not find me attractive, did not like me. I mean, one time, one guy, I started walking up to him with a big smile on my face, and he put out his hand and he's like, no. And I was like, you got it. Have a great night. And I just went the other way, So So it's like to me, it's not personal. You have to be confident enough to go, I'm going to be true to me, and whoever
Mm,
doesn't like me, cool, not for me. I wouldn't want them in my life anyway. It's the same with dating. Like some of my clients, they're looking for outside validation to feel worthy, and they're just really in a relationship. And understandably, I've been alone for a long time, and you want love and you want a companion, and yet taking just anybody is a good option. And some people
right.
do. I used to, and and that it's not authentic to you. You're not being true to yourself and waiting for the good one and being confident that I like how I am. I know exactly what I want, and I'm not going to settle for anything less. And it's the same with business. I mean, I know now that I have to speak the way that I speak
Yep.
and the way I joke around. The folks that love me are going to be super fun clients because they know exactly who I am. They're not going to be like, whoa, she is nothing like she was on social media in real life. Can you imagine if I never swore and then I got on a call with a client and I'm like, dude, saying this and saying, they'd be like, I want my money back. I don't want that, So
Right.
I
This
think,
is something I've talked about. I'm like, you're the way you market, the way you talk, the way you say the things, like
hmm,
it's helping your clients get to know who you are and who you they will get
yeah.
when they're in a session with you. And that's so, so important. And I just want to say, like, because you say this and I'm like, okay, that sounds really fantastic. Like, I love the
Yeah.
idea of it. You say, oh, okay, he's not for me. Like when the guy was like reaching his arm out, he's like, no, no, no. And you're like, okay, have a great night. Like it's
Yeah.
a fascinating concept, I think, for a lot of women to because I
Mm.
I feel like so many of us have been taught to people please, and like we're here to provide the happiness for the people around us. Do you know what I mean? And so when we get that no, and I really think that is part of the reason why women are like, I'm bad at marketing, I'm bad at sales, because
Yeah.
they're afraid of the rejection because what it means about them. So my question for
Oh,
you is, how do you help women go from this space where the no means I'm bad to the no means it's not right for me? Whether that's another person in our marketing, or whether that's I went to law school, it's not for me. That doesn't mean, do you know what I mean? Like that translation isn't
yeah,
there.
sure. And it's case by case. I mean, I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
think of, yeah, like one of my clients, we're digging around. She wants a better relationship with her body. Well, so do a lot of women.
Right. Yep.
And then when I like start to dig in, I find out where this came from and why she's so attached to compliments. And so I do have to dig in a little bit more and figure out what it is that they're looking for and why it's so hurtful to not get that outside or have someone reject them or say no or um and on the opposite, we start practicing and going, did you die though? Because that's for
Mm, I
me, it's
love
like
that.
put yourself out there. My daddy said something. His motto in life is, if you don't put it out there, it won't get chopped off. And I was like, I
I'm
was
not
like,
sure that's encouraging.
I was like, well, that's basically mine too. Because I always say, if you don't try, you won't know. But
Right.
his was basically like, if you don't put yourself out there, no one. And so I just thought it was funny the way he worded it. And it's true. And so for me, it's like rather than continuing to, I don't want to say wallow, but it's not quite the word I'm looking for. But to me, I think a lot of times it's like I can't, or I don't know, I struggle with this and I can't do that. And what if this? What if and I'm like, okay, yes, and how about we go do the thing you're afraid of and then realize you didn't die? What's because a lot of times I'll walk people through worst case scenario. Okay, you do this thing. What's the
Yeah.
worst case scenario? Well, the worst case scenario is like, yeah, I get canceled. Okay. But do you think that's realistically going to happen? No. Okay, cool. So worst case scenario then after that would be what? Well, my feelings get hurt. Okay.
Okay.
And then what? Like, so I like walk people through. They're so in their head about the worst case scenario. They're worried about the rejection. They're worried about somebody thinking that they're not doing enough. They didn't say the right thing. What if they take it the wrong way and they're mad at me? And then you have a conversation about that. Like
Right.
I think that for me, as you know, I'm an action taker. So I would rather Let's talk about how you go do the thing. And then if the worst case does happen, then we'll figure that out together. The fun thing is, though, the worst case probably won't happen. And then that will be a rep that shows you that you can do the thing and the worst thing didn't happen. Because I think what a
Yeah.
lot of women do is they hold themselves back because they're what
Yep.
if, what if, what if, what if, and then they don't do it.
Yep.
Whereas I help them go do the thing
Yep.
and then, oh, it wasn't that bad. Like I had one client, she for years, she's like, Morgan, I feel myself right on the edge and I want to say the thing and not crazy. She just in her relationship wanted to say how she was feeling about something. And I'm like, okay, what's worst case scenario? You guys get divorced? I mean, like, what, like walk me through. And then she finally had a conversation. She's like, it felt so good. The
Yeah. Freedom.
unfiltered version of me came out. They had a great conversation. It led to another conversation. So this thing that she was fearing, what if, what if, what if, instead she just did it, realized that the worst didn't happen. And now could you do that again, maybe in a different relationship or again in the same relationship? So to me, it's like, Morgan, how did you get so confident? I put in the reps. I took the chance.
Yeah.
You don't think I wasn't like a little nervous when I quit my job and sold everything I own and started driving to Miami and I didn't even know where I was going to work? I mean, but I thought I'll figure it out. And I did. What's the worst that can happen? I'd be homeless and find somebody to live with. Well, I did that too. I didn't have a place to live. I
Yeah.
found somebody that would put me up for a couple weeks. So I just feel like if you don't, like my dad said, if you don't put it out there, it won't get chopped off. So, so it's the thing. I just continue to put myself out there, even though, I mean, and there's that movie, We Bought a Zoo. I know it's
Oh
kind of
yeah,
old,
yeah,
but
yeah.
didn't Matt Damon, his character, tell his son, like, do something crazy and it's like 15 seconds of your life and you can't even believe you did it and then you did it. And that's what I think a lot of women, they're so worried about something that didn't even happen or
Yeah.
the worst didn't even happen and then they don't do the thing. And I'm more here to coach you
Mm-hmm.
like a good coach because that's again what I loved about transitioning from therapist to coach is I can get in there with you and be
Yep.
like, girl, you got this. And I'll just stay on the phone with you if you want me to. Because to me, it's go do the thing. I have a client who she'd never been on a solo date before. She was always been around people. She's never just gone out by herself. And she
Yep.
one day out of nowhere, I'm gonna go to a botanical garden by myself and I'm gonna walk around. And I was like, yeah, yeah. And she texted me throughout the experience. And then I did an Instagram story about it, and it inspired another woman to call me and be like, and she's been knowing me 10 years. She's been following me on Instagram and finally reached out and said, I want to work with you because she realized I want to go on solo dates. I want to feel confident
Yeah.
enough to go do that. But that's my job is to go do the thing. Because I think a lot of women are like, they're like standing on the edge, standing on the edge. And I'm like, bing. And somehow I help you go over, and not in a pushy way. It's a way that people have found really helpful. Like, thank you so much. Like, I don't know. It's really I add
Yeah.
perspective and some motivation. It's been really
Yeah,
fun.
your demonstration, your physical demonstration with your hand wasn't you punching or pushing.
No.
It was just a little flick with the fingers.
But yeah,
I
I
love
think
it.
confidence honestly is reps. It's reps. It's doing
Yeah.
the thing and going, whoo, okay, that was a little scary, but I did it. And look at this. Look, I met a new person. I got a new job. I moved to a new place. Or something didn't work out so well. I mean, I remember I moved to California. And for a long time, my dad's like, you always wanted to go to California. You go to California and didn't like it. And I'm like, and I'm still glad I went to California
Yeah,
because
right.
I always wanted to know. And because
Yep.
I went there, and yes, I was homeless, not on the street homeless, but I had to live with three different people because rent out there was crazy. It was more than one
Yep.
of my paychecks. And so people were kind enough to let me, couch surf. And then I ended up moving back to South Florida. And because of that experience, I ended up meeting somebody who helped me get a job at this major fitness franchise's headquarters. So I went from homeless to working at HQ. So I feel like every chance you take, even if it's like, well, this sucks, this didn't work out the way I thought it was going to, something comes out of it. And so I guess that's where the reps come in. It's like if you just go
Yeah.
do the thing, And you go, okay, what did I learn from this? I made it. Okay, that wasn't great. I'm going to do the next one different. It to me,
Yeah.
it's doing it. It's action. I feel like a body in motion stays in motion. So get your body in motion, whatever that is for you, your business, a new kind of relationship. You're not going to date this way anymore. You're going to date this way. You're going to try something new. You're going to put yourself on social media. It's been really, even clients of mine who are like, I'm afraid to say the thing. What if people don't think I'm normal? Great. And what's the worst case scenario if they don't think you're normal? Tell me. And then she posts a thing and she's like, wow, I got a really good response. Great. So let's do another one. It's just
Yeah.
I'm the person, like I said, I'm an activator. It's one of my Clifton strengths, the top 5 or whatever. And it's I like you said, somehow I help other women take action as well.
I love that. It really sounds like this beautiful balance of let's dive in and figure some things out
Hmm.
mentally and emotionally, and then
Yep.
let's take action on it. And it's like one of the things that I love that you're doing this, one of the reasons why I love you doing this is because it's easy to sit on this side of the screen or the computer, Instagram, or whatever, and be like, okay, I can do that. I can do that. Like that's it sounds doable.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow it's like, okay, but I'm not actually doing it. So I love that there is you, because you are there to like hold hold people's hands, hold women's hands and be like, okay, I got you, boo. Like, let's take this step together. Let's do it together, because doing it alone, especially doing something this big alone, it's hard. And just hearing all of the things that you've done, all of the experiences that you've had, the things that worked, the things that didn't work, and you did it anyway. I'm like, she's like the like this is a fangirl in me being like, she is the perfect person to help, because you have tried so many things. Because I hear you saying over and over, I tried it, it didn't work, and I trusted myself. And to me, that's like such a huge part of this confidence to do something, is like, okay, what if like I'm just, you're like sharing all this, like what if worst case scenario? And I'm thinking, worst case scenario did happen to me. And it was the thing that I was terrified the most of. And it 100% came true. And things that I hadn't even considered could happen, that were worse than that thing, happened, like all at the same time. And I'm not going to get into details, just because it's so incredibly personal. But um, all of that happened. And I look back on that time and I'm like, so glad the worst case scenario happened. And the worst case scenario and more, like worst case scenario that I hadn't even considered. Because what it taught me was I can trust myself to take the action that's needed to be taken. Like, if worst case scenario happens, I'm still okay, because I will do the thing that needs to be done to get me to the next place. And that's one of the things, like, I love that you're like, okay, let's worst case scenario it. Let's talk about this. Like, what's going to happen? Is this likely to happen? No. Okay, great. And if it is, yes, and then what? Like, if somebody doesn't like you, then what? If somebody thinks you're weird, like, that's your worst case scenario, and somebody thinks you're weird, then what? Great. Like, now you know that you're not for them, and they know you're not for them. Right? Like,
Yeah.
did I say that the right? Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's business or you're dating
Yeah.
someone, or it's
Yep.
it's literally like, do you even want that person in your life? Probably not.
Exactly.
And that's okay. And to not take that on, it's like puzzle pieces that you're trying to force together. They just don't go together. That's okay. It's not personal. It's not the end of the world. There are other puzzle pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. I just
I'm
love it.
sorry to hear the
Okay.
worst case scenario happened for you, though. That's tough. And I mean, you're right. A lot of people, they're like, oh my God, I can't even imagine how you did it. No, you can't imagine, because
No.
unless you're in it, you have to survive and figure it out. And and like,
It was like, would I want to do it again? Would I want to live through it again? No. Like,
no.
not in a million years. Not in a million years would I want to do that.
Yeah.
But it it gave me an opportunity to really stand in my own voice, which is huge for my business, right? Like I couldn't be here today if I hadn't done what I did back then.
Yeah. That's
And yeah, so that is what I wouldn't change. And that's why I'm not that I would want to go through it again, but it's why I'm grateful for the experience. You know what I mean?
yeah.
All right, Morgan, you were talking to me before we started recording about this thing that you do on Wednesdays, and I'm just in love. So I want you to share that with my listeners because
Sure.
it sounds so fantastic. So tell me, like, let's talk about the Confidence Club. I want you to tell me what it's about, what you do during it, because this is a free call,
Mhm.
and tell me when it is, and we'll put the link in the show notes. Like, give me the deets, girl. Give me the deets.
Absolutely. Well, I'm very grateful to have met someone who became my business coach. And ironically, she's my ideal client. So she became client as well. So I'm her client, she's my client. So
I
it's
love
been a
it.
really fun relationship, and I've been really grateful for her. And we talk business on Voxer, and we talk about her personal life in text message. So we have
I
two
love
threads
it.
because we kind of like code switch depending
Yep.
on what we're talking about. Um, and it's just been a delight. And working with her, most people in business are like, hey, I've got a discount code, I've got a coupon, I've got a free offer, I've got a cool recipe book. Well, as you can tell, Cytel, you kind of gotta hang out with me. That you gotta like, do I like her? And then very quickly go yes or no, and by being in my energy. And one of my favorite things, I was telling my business coach, I said, what should I do for like to give offer something to people? Like if they're interested, they want to kind of understand what I do. What could I do? And she's like, well, definitely not a PDF. Like you're not going to come across in a PDF. Like, you know,
That sounds as
download this PDF,
that sounds as bad as you sitting in on a chair all day listening to people talk.
right? So I was like, okay, PDF's off the table. She said, even a video. I don't know that that's it. And I was telling her, I said, God, I miss teaching dance and fitness. Speaking of like getting people moving, even now that you say that, when you said that earlier, I thought, well, no wonder I got into fitness because I
Yep.
like to get people moving.
Yep.
And so I I really miss teaching dance and fitness, and a set day and time, getting people together, them talking to each other, supporting each other. I said, and she's like, yeah, it's not gonna be the Morgan show. Like I think this is about women getting together and really feeling comfortable and safe to talk about anything. And she's like, what about a book club? And I was like, I like it. She's like, wait, what about the confidence club? And I said, I like that better because that way I
Love it.
can, I could talk about books. I can talk about something I heard the other day, something I experienced that would kick off a conversation, just like if you were at brunch with your girlfriends. You'd sit down with your girlfriends and be like, get this, ladies, can you believe? And you start talking. And then the conversation's going, and I'm asking what you think, and she's asking, and she's telling her story. And that's exactly, I'm 3 weeks in. It happens every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I have one from Morocco joining, Puerto Rico, Chicago, Denmark. Today I had a girlfriend of mine from Copenhagen, Denmark join, and we talk about, the first time I talked about sliding door moments and something, regrets and spiraling thoughts, and that got the women talking. Then we had, I forgot what we talked about last week, but this week we talked about, where is it in your life you wish you were more clear about what you want? Is it your career? Is it your relationship? Have you truly painted a picture in writing to almost manifest exactly what you want, and then feel so confident in it? You create it and you share it with your girlfriends to help you
Yeah.
manifest this thing. And so we started talking about that, and it led to a bunch of fun stories and perspectives, and she was giving her perspective. So it wasn't about me, it's about me, bringing up a topic and then just letting
Yeah.
everybody talk. And I really encourage the women. It's like, don't worry how you look. I mean, my one friend, she was driving in her car, her husband and her kid were in the back, and then she had a little earbuds in, and she joined the call. The other girl was on a work break. I mean, it was just like, come as you are, come when you can. It's every Wednesday. So yeah, they go and um go click on the link, they'll get the calendar invite. It'll be on their calendar, and whenever you can jump in, jump in. I'd love to have you. And bring a girlfriend. Everybody wants to bring a girlfriend to a party to make it, not feel like they're alone. So if you want to come
Yeah,
to the
for
call
sure.
alone, awesome. If you want to bring a girlfriend so you're worried you're going to show up alone, awesome. Bring your friend. It's just really, to me, it's about talking about anything. Like I said, I'm an oversharer, so I'm like, some people they'll be like, "Oh, excuse my language." I'm like, "Girl, the fucks will be flying in this group. If from no one else, it'll be from me." So I said, you don't need to filter your language, the topic you want to talk about, what you think about something. Like, let's get the conversation going. So it's really about women talking about things that maybe they lack confidence in, they are confident about something they're working on. It's really about just friendship and supporting and celebrating each other like I used to be able to do in my fitness classes.
I love it. And it just really sounds like the next first step to
Yeah.
expanding your confidence. That's
Yeah.
what it sounds like to me. So, well, I love it. I'm gonna be there. I'm
Yay.
totally gonna be there. And I'm gonna put that link in the show notes. Thank you so much, Morgan, for joining me today and for talking to me all about this. It's been an absolute pleasure.
That was Cytel Schults interviewing me, and I hope you loved that conversation as much as I did. Go find her podcast, Designed to Be Heard, and give her some love because she is the real deal. Now, if something in this interview resonated with you and you're thinking, I want that kind of support in my life, I want you to do two things, please. First, come join the Confidence Club. Go to morganbarkus.com, look for Confidence Club up top, click on that. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, I host a free virtual brunch for women from all over the world. I'm talking Morocco, Puerto Rico, Denmark, Chicago. We're from everywhere. No shower required. The link is in the show notes or at morganbarkus.com. And second, if you are ready to work together one-on-one with me, you can also go to morganbarkus.com and schedule a call with me. Let's figure out exactly what is holding you back, and we can go get it. Until next time, stay unapologetic.